It is Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. It's hard for me to imagine we're this far in the year or this far in the century. I still remember going to those parties, the Y2K parties. They seem like they were just a few years ago. Anyway, I digress. It's the middle of the summer. I decided it was the perfect time to go into the Wayback Machine, if you remember that from Rocky and Bullwinkle, one of my favorite cartoons, and do a Throwback Thursday. So I was pulling some old clips off software I'm not using anymore before I really delete my subscription. And I pulled up the first time I did a live program like this. At that point, I was doing them on LinkedIn Live. Now it's more of the podcast. My first episode, of course, was with Brenda Meller. Now, you will hear in this that we had really just become friends. If you followed along on LinkedIn or hear from us, you hear we're always talking about each other because we've become really good friends since this was recorded in 2021. So welcome back in time, that is. I learned a couple things. I talk way too much in that interview. I talk a lot less now, but you'll get the drift. It was always good to talk about co-opetition. See, it rolls off my tongue. That's a teaser. And how it helps everyone. So listen in, folks.
Good morning. It's maybe afternoon or evening when you're watching, and that's fine too, because I am here today with my new good friend. There she is, Brenda Meller, who I met during the pandemic, and we're talking today about the power of co-opetition. You have to think about it, right? When you say it, you can't I give it a year and it's going to roll off of everybody's tongue. Because we need to see what is exactly the power of working together. And I have to say, I'm going to introduce Brenda in a second, but before the pandemic, really like a month or two before, I was talking with someone else in marketing and a solopreneur, and we were talking about maybe putting together a group of people in different pieces of what we do to meet on a monthly basis. Nothing official. We're not like charging dues, buy your own coffee at Starbucks kind of thing. Just to put people together to network. I know there's someone else right now that I'm partnering with. I'm going to do one part of the bid, and she's going to do another. And that is the co-opetition, not the angst of other people. So with that, I'm introducing Brenda Meller, who I first met on one of her free LinkedIn Live or videos, giving tips about LinkedIn. And since then, we are pretty much in at least weekly contact, if not more. And I've gained so much information. So Brenda, tell us a little bit about yourself and just your philosophy that makes you so successful in so many people's eyes.
Oh, well, is your first LinkedIn Live, Pam? Is this your first live stream?
It is my first live stream. So how we doing?
We're doing good. I'm hearing a little bit of echo with my sound. Okay, I think it went away. So StreamYard sometimes fixes it. So I want to make sure we're good. And I'm delighted to be on. And I always tell people I don't make mistakes. I have learning experiences. So if there's any learning experiences we have along the journey today, we'll share them with you all. And I think that's to your point, what makes me successful. I pull back the curtain. I let people know what's happening. I like to train people, teach people, inspire people, coach people to be better. And really on LinkedIn, if you look at my profile, I help VIPs and sales leaders unlock the power of LinkedIn. And, that really can be anybody who wants to do a better job of being more effective at using the platform. But it doesn't mean I'm only active on LinkedIn and only networking there. You and I think we met in the real world, like pre-pandemic, right?
Once.
And then we've kind of stayed connected through the pandemic, through Zooms and webinars and other events and things like that. And I had you on my live. I'll drop the comment in a little bit later here. But for me, my background is in marketing. So as a marketer, I'm always thinking about, for myself and for my clients, who's my ideal target audience? What are my business goals? And how can I leverage the power of LinkedIn to help make that happen? My big success on LinkedIn, really, it started to turn around for me when I stopped focusing on myself and I started to focus on other people. And my special sauce is something I like to call social media karma. And it's basically the same thing as karma. What you put out to the universe comes back to you. And it's the same way on LinkedIn. What you put out through social media karma comes back to you. So I do that by shining the spotlight on other people, by tagging people and companies in my posts, by really focusing more on talking about other people and with other people in my posts than I do talking about myself and my own business. So that's a little about me, Pam, and I'm delighted to be here with you today.
Yeah, so that totally makes sense because I have a strong background in nonprofit work. And one of the things I learned very early is the more times you put the word you into a donor letter, the better your response is going to be. Mm-hmm. People want to know what the organization or the business is doing. But right. They really want to know what the effect of their donation is, what the effect of their commitment is. So the more, and I just was saying this to someone yesterday, I think it's the same with business, especially the work we're in. It really isn't about us. It's about it's about your outcome based on the work that we're providing and based on the load we're taking off of you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
just changing that verbiage when you're describing your company. We specialize in helping people with LinkedIn versus saying, I help you unlock the power of LinkedIn. You can see how it shifts that engagement level.
Exactly. So, and I will say that, so I took a couple free classes of yours, which at the beginning of the pandemic was phenomenal. And then I was learning so much that I kind of felt guilty that everything you were doing was free. I didn't want to be your stalker. Maybe I am, but I didn't want to be your stalker. So I decided, it was really important for me to take a couple of the classes and pay you because I really felt like you deserved it. You were being so authentic. And I know that's one of your big words in what you were sharing with people that it allowed my success. And I have to tell you, a week doesn't go by when someone doesn't say to me, wow, every time I pop into LinkedIn, I see what you're doing. You must be so successful.
There you go. That's what it's all about, right?
And I say, from your ears, from your mouth to God's ears. But it is drawing that and putting that together. And so as we slightly emerge, though I think we're going back into our little cocoon soon, sadly, we're, it is starting to bubble. I think it's starting to bubble for you too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, I guess the in-person versus virtual, it's a little scary getting back out there all over again. And I think we've all got to figure out what we're comfortable with, ourselves are comfortable with, and then what our audiences and organizations and organization members are going to be comfortable with. I just had a call with someone this morning they're working on a nonprofit. They have an event they're doing next month here in Metro Detroit, and they're now starting to have conversations about adding in a virtual option. The goal, obviously, is to bring more people in person, because I think that's where we can really start to have some exciting things happening, supporting the nonprofit from a fundraising perspective. But you've got that group of people who may be reluctant, right? And then adding that virtual option can help to access them as well.
Right. And it depends what it is. I mean, there may be things that the virtual is an hour later, not to dissuade people from learning the material, but it's really hard, or even a few hours later, it's really hard to concentrate on speaking to the audience in front of you, right? Looking over the podium
that way,
and looking up at the camera, which is one of the big tips you share, so that it's really difficult. So it'll be an interesting thing. I know I'm in a networking group, and we just went back 2 weeks ago to in person.
Yep.
I didn't go this week. I'm not nervous about the people in the room, but there's a lot of people younger than me in the room who have kids who aren't of age to be vaccinated.
Right.
And that's concerning me inside. Okay, I have lots of concerns. Just don't even start.
You all do, though. I think we all have to be respectful of the concerns and knowing we're all going to have different comfort levels, and there may be underlying stories or rationale reasons. I mean, I've got, one of my kids is fully vaccinated. The other one is not of age to be vaccinated yet. I've got a father who has health issues that he's not fully vaccinated yet. And if we hang around him, I mean, we don't know enough about how this right. And it's like we're all kind of been coming out of this very traumatic situation. It's been traumatic. We've been in our homes, quarantined, staying away from people, being trained to stay away from people, being, washing our hands furiously, hand sanitizing, mask wearing. And now you're just going to throw me out in the middle of a group of people and have me handshake them and not be wearing them. I mean, it's it's going to be a gradual adjustment. And I think there's a period of time where we're starting to kind of dip our toe in the water and figure out, is this feeling comfortable? And then if I try it, am I okay? And then maybe I'll try it again. I mean, I did a conference last week. I was at a conference. It was a great event, but it was very anxiety inducing for me, both before the event, after the event. And I'm like, okay, did it? Not doing anything more until September. And I felt like I gave myself that permission. And now I can tell people no until September,
You keep freezing on me, and then you come back right away. So hopefully people watching this now or later, and we've got some comments that I'm going to put up in a second. Yay, that's when the world starts to move, right? But I will say that it's like, so how many bottles of Purell did you use when you got home?
Oh, gosh. How many times did I say, are we out of hand sanitizer? And then we have the really liquidy, what is it, like the rubbing alcohol version? I'm like, I don't know if I like that better or not because it's not gel. But yeah, we've all owned stock at some point.
We should have owned stock. So let's put up a couple comments. So Christopher Johnson, who you have done programs with, and I'm going to, I think, be doing a live event with soon. Or Chris, if you want to come on mine, or I'll go on your event. But it's right back and forth.
Yeah, there you go.
If we use two hands, then it's good, because otherwise when you point, you're totally messed up on here.
You got to do it like reverse. So in person, you're on this side of me if I look on screen, but on screen, you're on this side of me. So you got to
so it's all different.
Reverse. Yeah.
So, and Sue Griffey, we love you because you love my Talks to Plants mug. I'll give it another shout out, because I was definitely outside talking to my plants yesterday and then took a Benadryl because I was so itchy.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Also says, Brenda, everything you show us is great. And I think that, that's really kind of where we're at. And Yvonne Rentmeester from Southern California says hello. So hi, Yvonne. It's great to hear from you too. So let's talk a little bit about the power of cooperation and building each other up. I put the byline or the tagline for this event, building each other up so everyone succeeds, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that really is the bottom line. I mean, lots of times things come up, it's not quite in your wheelhouse, and someone else is going to do a better job. I think we're all in that space right now that we want to do what we want to do, that we know we're going to do a good job with. Mm-hmm. I don't want to, right now at least, I don't want to take on something that's going to be really stressful for me to learn a whole topic and subject and, become an expert somewhere. So it's a little tough. And I love to work, co-work with other people. That's kind of the most private, the most, I think, gratifying thing we look at. So I'm just going to throw your banner up for people to connect with you, and we'll talk about that. A little later. But I just, it's important that we get our reach moving, and that, that power of recommendations and networking. I had a lovely recommendation this morning. I'm just, thrilled with it. Awesome. And I always tell people to put testimonials on their websites. Mm-hmm. There's nothing, I know we don't want to be like braggy, but we do want to be proud of the work we do.
Well, I think that's the power of social proof, that whole concept that people will believe more what others say about you than what you say about yourself. And especially if they can kind of validate the source of who said it. And, one example I'll give is there's many services that claim you can use automation to grow your network on LinkedIn. And that's actually a violation of LinkedIn's terms of service. And when I get the automated looking invitation and I get somebody involved in the conversation, I say, which service are you using? And they tell me. I'll go to that company's website and they will have testimonials. But Pam, these testimonials are not linked to anywhere. It might say Tim from Ohio or, Mavita from Michigan. And I don't know who that is. Like, is this a real person or not? And even in the contact us section of the webpage for that service provider, they don't show names, first and last names. They don't show links back to LinkedIn. That to me is a glaring omission. They're hiding something. But I think what you do when you share the testimonials, you share the person's first and last name. Sometimes you might even give a link in the comments where they can click and visit their bio as well. And that's the power of social proof. We want to have validity that they actually did say these things and that these are real people. And that really helps to kind of make that social proof be believable, right?
Absolutely. All right, we froze again a little, but we're good. We're powering through, right?
It's not freezing on my end. I'm curious if the audience is seeing. Is it smooth? And maybe ask and see if anyone. It might just be a Wi-Fi hiccup on your end or my end. It's pretty smooth for me. I haven't noticed any hiccuping occurring. So yeah, so, love technology, don't we, Pam?
I can't think of anything better. It's kind of like democracy,
right?
But it's the best we have.
It's what we got, right? Yeah.
Exactly. It's the best there is, but it will get better. So I think based on what you just said, I'm going to go back to my website since I have permission from all of the people I have testimonials from to put it there and add their full information and maybe link them and put a link into LinkedIn on their name. I think that's a great idea, and I'll be doing that on some website cleanup I'm doing for a customer soon because I think that's so important. They're here everywhere.
Yeah.
I think, look, Sue Griffey says, but tech brought us here.
That is true.
And Chris is telling us smooth and hiccup free.
Yeah.
So good. So,
it's good that you talked about that, Pam, because there might be somebody else watching this that's doing a live video or has a live video coming up and might be like, wow, what about hiccuping? I mean, and what you've experienced isn't what our users, our visitors, our viewers are experiencing. So that's important to know. So it's good that you talked about that.
So I'll tell you, so in high school, I worked on the plays. Does your thespian card ever expire? I don't know. They just posted that the next reunion of my age group, plus and minus, is going to be in Las Vegas, which isn't so bad. Mm-hmm. Last time it was here. That was cheaper. But I remember as a freshman working on this backdrop for Oliver. And if anyone from Southfield Lathrop ever looks at this, they will so know this lesson. But our drama teacher, Frank Harris, who I'm friends with on Facebook, came up to this group of freshmen painting leaves on a backdrop. And he said, you have been painting these leaves for a half hour, like this little group. And he said, come with me. And he walked us to the back of the auditorium. And my school had we had kind of the city auditorium. So it was this wonderful auditorium. He said, now look at what the people see. Don't do your work, do it well, but you don't need to spend an hour on a leaf because it's the whole piece. And it's a lesson, when you think about the lessons that stay with you, it's what other people see, not necessarily the micro piece that you're seeing that's flipping you out. Yeah. So it's a good life lesson. And, my acting teacher is the best. So I'm really, it's those kind of lessons that stick with you that then roll out to other parts in life. So how do you think that other people can enter this idea of coopetition as opposed to looking at things and going, my God, I can't believe they got this, I didn't.
Right. And I want to just kind of take a step back from it too. I first heard the word coopetition from Terry Bean. So, he read it in a book. So we didn't invent it. I like giving credit where credit's due. But the whole concept here is cooperating with your competitors. So we kind of pull the two words together and we come up with co-opetition. And there's a couple other authors and leaders and things out there. And I think it might be Stephen Covey who said, we talked about this abundance mentality. If it's not Stephen Covey, please comment and correct me on this. But there's an abundance mentality and there's a scarcity mentality. And the abundance mentality means we know that there is more than enough work to go around for all of us. There's more than enough clients. There's more than enough money. There's more than enough wealth. There's more than enough, whatever it is that we need in our life, happiness, right? There's no finite amount of it. So we can all succeed is the philosophy. And when you approach it with a competition mindset, the more that I can help people in my LinkedIn network succeed, the more that I will succeed as well. And again, it's kind of going back to that social media karma concept. Whereas in comparison, there's a scarcity mindset or a competitive mindset. And that means that the scarcity is there's only enough out, there's a finite amount out there. So if my friend Pam gets this client, I won't get the client, or I won't get another client. So we have to be competing with each other for the scarce resources that are out there is the mindset. If you use that as an approach, you're only going to be focused on yourself, your business, finding your clients. You're never going to be referring business to others or helping people. When a friend says, hey, I have a LinkedIn Live, can you help me? You're going to say, absolutely not. I've got to work on my clients today. And that's a scarcity mindset.
I'm sorry. That was what 10 p.m. was for, working on your own stuff.
Yeah. So it's an approach to take. And some people are more hyper competitive and they may say they believe in a co-opetition or an abundance mindset there, but they're really not utilizing that type of an approach. I'm a big believer that I can be a referral or a resource for other people in my network. I can pay it forward. I can help others. I can still keep my business going. And by doing all of those really good efforts on helping other people, I'm creating a good connection, a good relationship. And people are going to want to repay those favors to you. And it may not be every person every time, but eventually you're going to figure out the people in your network who have that same approach. Now, if my friend Pam kept asking me for favors and referrals and never flipped me any favors back, then I might say, Pam, I'm not available to help you. But when Pam, I know, has that same type of an approach and she's sent business to me, she's tagged me in posts, she's done other things, I feel like it's reciprocal. I feel like we're equals in sharing and accessing resources that we provide to each other. Yeah.
I mean, I think if the main tagline, if I didn't have to describe my business, right? If we didn't have to say we do this, this, and this, I think the word that people would say about me, because it's important, what people say about you is, wow, she is the most amazing networker I've ever met. And and so you've got to be able to do that to get that, right? So I'll tell you, yesterday I had coffee and I know she's on the road now, but with a woman named Lana Bain, who I've never met before. She's from Virginia. We met because we were both connected, sadly, to a friend of mine who passed away, Irene Spanos, who I miss so dearly. It's like, I can't even tell you. And she had connected with her because she's thinking about moving back to Michigan. And when she read my post about Irene, my original post, she reached out and we connected. Yesterday, we had coffee because she's in Michigan, kind of scoping around if she's going to move back home after being away since college. And so it's that power of the, reaching out. Oh, by the way, with a note to connect on LinkedIn, never reach out without your note ready. And so it's strange worlds. I think I put a post up yesterday and I said, I think, Irene would be so happy that we met in person, outside, carefully.
So legacy continues, right? And that's what it's all about.
Exactly. I think her legacy will continue for a very, very long time to come.
Yeah.
And then, so those are the things that can make us support each other, So we're going to continue to look for those special sparks in our world. You know what? It makes our day better. I think it makes us more content to know that if we have a question or we need someone, there's someone at our back, especially working alone. But, maybe what we're really doing is working alone together.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Maybe we'll use that again. because that is what it is. We are kind of finding this way through things together. And we all, and just so you know, like before we went live, I just bought a couple programs through AppSumo that I told Brenda about that are like one-time shot lifetime prices that so far I'm very happy with. So why wouldn't I save her a monthly, price and she'll buy me a cup of coffee and all will be good. So
there you go. And we're going to use that website. What's it called? Halfway.com
or halfwaythere.com. That's how we met. That's how I met this other woman yesterday. So we are using it. I just want to remind people to comment and let us know where you're watching from. And if you're not watching live and you're watching in the playbacks, because these will be up later, please comment then. I'm going to tag everybody who's been watching just to kind of push this out to your network and push it out to mine a little more. And that'll be really helpful, I think, to everyone, that we're all looking to cooperate. I think people want to hire people who want to cooperate with others. And I think that's something we should be promoting, that's how we kind of look at our careers as working well with others, right?
Yep.
So tell me what's your next? What's your next thought? I mean, your book is, in my car whenever
whenever you get a minute, you read it, right?
When I'm getting my tires rotated.
When I first got my book, the first 3 people to get a copy of my book other than myself were my husband, my son, and my daughter. And they all looked for their names in the book because there's an index in the back. And I think about that as far. My son and my daughter may have read like a paragraph where they were mentioned. My husband says he cracked the book open, but I don't believe it. It's still sitting in the coffee room, the coffee table in the living room. I can see it exactly. So it's the same thing too. I buy books and I have like a side table right now. I've got like 4 or 5 books that I've purchased from friends or people I've interviewed or people I'm coming up with interviews on. And I'm like you, I like reading, but sometimes I'll throw the book in my car. And then the next time I'm sitting in the waiting room at a doctor's office or dentist's office, or I go to a community pool with my daughter, sometimes I pull the books out there and catch up on my reading. It's not like we consume it immediately. It's not like a Slurpee or a Starbucks latte that we have to consume it immediately. I mean, there's some shelf life that you can kind of read it when you're in the right mindset and you have the time to be able to dedicate to it. And I feel like because we're in such a digitally focused social media hyper space, it's like you get that immediate gratification from scrolling through LinkedIn and seeing messages and notifications. And sometimes you have to like mentally shut that off to pull open a book. And I don't know about you, Pam, I'm not sure how long I can get into the book, usually about 10 or 15 minutes before I see either somebody's name mentioned, a website, a company, something that I want to look up on LinkedIn. So then I put the book down and then it pulls me back over, So, but
I have a Kindle, but I have a Kindle, I say for travel, because I don't read heavy stuff when I travel. So I can also always pop through 2 or 3 things and I don't have to carry 2 or 3 books. However, at home, outside in the backyard, I like that paper. Right. I like, I just like, there's no glare off the sun to it. I can just read and I don't know.
The feeling of it, holding it, and the smell of it, I don't know. Just
I'm a very tactile person. I sew, I do a lot of crafting. And so I like, my mother always used to go to the fabric store. She could spend an hour just touching the different fabric. And she knew in her head what it was going to be when she was done, which I don't always know. I do a little sewing. I just reset my office so it has some dedicated sewing space in it. So watch for the future. So it's a book. I don't know. And I do read books, nonfiction, I don't know, or how-to books. I do read them with a highlighter and with flags. Yep. So, and I really, because I'll go back and look again. And I also think with books like that, if I read too much, I'm reading for the sake of reading, not for the sake of absorbing.
Yeah, so, enjoying it, right?
Right, or learning from it, because you're reading to get to the end.
Yeah. So Pam, I have a question. Have you been into a library yet since the pandemic started?
So, no. We all have our weaknesses, right?
Right.
So I am very, very good at taking books out of library. The flip side of that is I am very, very bad at returning them on time.
Do you have fines waiting for you, Pam?
I do not. At the moment, I do not, because my friends and I are like each other's library. I also, and when the next book stock comes up, I'm going to make you drive all the way across town. Yvonne says the feel of books. It's always good. I'm going to make you bring your kids all the way across town, because one of the organizations in town I'm involved in is called Bookstock, and it's the largest resale of book resale. It takes place in Livonia, so I know it's a bit of a drive for you, but it is the entire mall is basically used books.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm.
And here's the kicker. All the money raised goes to education programs.
Oh, that's nice.
And there's like a day when teachers can come and buy books half off for their classroom, and there's last days, and so I get a lot of my books there.
Oh,
and those of us volunteering are all pretty much big readers. Yeah. So most of the time it's like, does anybody need a good book? I just found a copy of this book, and it was one of my favorite books.
Probably, right? Looking
and
around.
Then somebody will grab it. So it's just a fun time. So a shout out to, Bookstock and everybody who works on that, because it's a tremendous, tremendous amount of work for hundreds of thousands of books. So that's kind of where we're at. This was really an opportunity to just kind of test the waters for my first LinkedIn Live that took me a year to get. And when I got it within 12 hours. So
that's great. So did you only apply once, or how did that work?
I applied. This was my fourth apply over the year. So I applied like every 3 months, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, I guess I should really apply again. So I was shocked at midnight, like when this this email came through saying, you've been approved. I'm like, who can I tell?
Right. Who would be as excited? I know Brenda would be.
Exactly.
So
my little cohort.
Since this is your first test, and I'm like your guinea pig, in here too.
Not a guinea pig.
Let me give you a couple things. So in your StreamYard, there's a little menu bar that's kind of below you, and you can see there's a couple different video views. Right now we're in the large side by side. There's another one that's collapsed, and then click on my video and drag it over to yours. You can flip flop our positions too. So click on the video and drag it. Look at that.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. So just play with this, because you wouldn't want to do this when you're interviewing a real guest. Like I'm kind of a friend.
You are a real guest. Don't say that about yourself.
I mean, you're not. I'm not here to, we're not here trying to impress each other. We're just here as friends, and I'm here to support you. And then there's also
to show how co-opetition.
We're doing a lot. And there's also another view where if you bring something up on screen, so you can do like a share screen, and then we'll go into the left panel, and then the share screen will show like what's in the bottom. So if you wanted to I wouldn't pull up the LinkedIn Live, because it's going to be like video and video and video. It'll be like that weird effect thing that will happen on it. But if you wanted to pull up like Google or something else in another window, you can kind of just test how that works. Or maybe you want to pull up the Hill Street Group website or MellerMarketing.com or something, like pull something up in the background. And then when you click on share screen in the bottom, you can share that screen, and then our videos will go to the left and will become smaller. And then what the share screen is will be a little bit larger in there.
So I just want you to know that Christopher Johnson says getting you to be my first person is like Willy Wonka's golden ticket. So apparently you owe him big time. And that's like one of the most wonderful comments. So we're going to try this.
Yeah.
We're going to go like this. So I have a background up that I guess I should take down.
So right now, if you take the background down, it'll be black behind us. So that's what I would recommend for this view. Or you could do a white background, or if you wanted to do a branded background, just keep in mind you've got your logo that's like up in the upper left-hand corner there. So we don't want to block that out. So this is kind of testing as you go, right?
So I'm going to try and share my screen.
There you go.
So it has to like get there. So hold on. But look, I happen to have.
Ooh, look at that.
Am I doing this right? Did it come up? That's exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's like the screen and screen and screen, but it was just a second ago. So if you go back to it again, Try that again, and then
So-
click on, was it like share your screen, or was there a specific Chrome tab or something that it gives you as an option?
No, it just says share screen, and then it says, oh, it's best with two. Well, I have two monitors. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, because
I know what to do. I'm so smart. Hold on.
This is good testing. These are all learning experiences. No mistakes. This is a mistake-free zone.
This is a learning zone. My mom used to say that she didn't get lost. Yay, Pam!
There we go.
That she was on an adventure, and we were on many adventures over our lives. So I'm going to try and scroll this down a little bit.
If you click on that green accept all, that's the cookies thing that I had to enable on my website, I think, because of the GDPR stuff.
Right.
Yeah, you can see a little bit more on there. Hey.
So, look, it's two treats in one.
Right.
All right, learning new tips and tricks from each other for about 40 minutes, and we're at 40 minutes exactly.
You want to try the banners before we leave, Pam? I know you're going to start to wrap up.
Sure.
So I know you created a couple different things off to the side, and then there's a way you can put a banner as well as comments up on screen if you want to test that out, just kind of see what that looks like.
Well, I think we should show
there you go.
Your information for for your website and your business profile, which always says company as opposed to IN. That's a tip for people. So you know where you're heading. And if we don't show yours, I guess we should show mine.
There you go.
So apparently we can do both. Let's try and do both and see. Look at that. So again, if you're watching later today, we really hope you will join. You'll let us know in our comments. We'll be sharing this. Watch this, share this. It's also a great tutorial on LinkedIn. So, and I will just like to say, because I talk with plants, I can take pictures of my flowers like at the top of my screen. So this has been just unbelievably helpful, wonderful. You know, I really didn't talk about it, but my expertise is really the content and the wording and the communication and how you work not only with your clients, but with your team to make sure that the most concise and accurate information is shared by everyone. And one of the amazing places to do it is LinkedIn. And that's where Brenda comes in and helps her clients learn, or if they just don't, sometimes you just don't have time. You need the help so you can do your work better.
Right.
And there is no one better than Brenda to add into that. So with that, I think we're going to say adieu for now. And thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough for being my first LinkedIn Live person. And we'll see everyone soon. Take care.
Pam, leave a comment for Pam. Tell her she did a great job, whether you're watching live or playback. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
I wanted to share with you a new offering from my company, Pamela Lippitt Communications. I'm actually offering a communications audit. So who is this for? It's for a company, a nonprofit, where there's new leadership, new board members, or new senior hires who may not be up to speed and are seeing different things when they're looking at different pieces of paper, because really it's the new people who are really diving in and looking at things. It could be because you have new programs or new clients or new services, and you want to give them a consistent message about your company. It may be that people are asking the same questions all the time. That means you should be answering it in your materials so they don't have to ask. And it's also if you're seeing internal frustrations among your team. Maybe they don't have the right materials they need. So if you're interested in a communications audit for your company, I am giving a bonus for anyone who mentions hearing this on the podcast. Not only will I do a communication audit of your materials, but I'll also come in person or via Zoom and meet with your team to go over all the materials as we start and as we finish to make sure everyone's on the same page. So with that, shoot me a text or an email if you're interested, and I am happy to reach out and discuss how your communications can be smoother, more concise, and lead to more business. Thank you.